Hi there, and welcome along to another video here on my channel, and it's going to be a little bit different. And I thought I'd answer some of the questions that people have been putting to me, so perhaps we'll do this from time to time. But the big thing that's been happening is the Channel 4 TV series that I've been hinting and alluding to has finally started to transmit, and I think people have started asking a lot of questions about that. So I printed out a few of them. So first one that seems to come up an awful lot is, when did you first get involved with Biggest Little Railway? Well, I was trying to think about this actually. It would have been probably sometime over the summer 2016. Started talking with the researchers, and back then they had a rough idea of what they wanted to do, and it was really a fact-finding mission for them. And I got involved just talking to them about that, and I can remember them telling me, "All right, well, okay, we've kind of put our pitch together. We're going to put it in. You might not hear back from us, but if it gets picked up, then you might hear back from us." And as it turned out, it did get commissioned, and I heard back from them. So I'd been talking to them for quite a while, actually. So question 2, let's have a look. Can you tell us anything about the filming? Well, the short answer is no, because I signed an NDA, so I can't really talk about an awful lot. But the long answer, I suppose I can allude to the fact that I had quite a good time doing it. It was a lot of fun, but also there was loads that we filmed that has been cut for time reasons. So I think we probably had an awful lot of fun doing things that are lost to the cutting room floor, but that's the nature of television. But really, until all of the episodes are transmitted, there's not really a lot I can talk about. Are we going to see you in anything else on television in the future? There's quite a few of you asked me this. And the long and short of it is, I don't really know. There are a few fingers in a few pies. But as to whether anything will come off, I really don't know. There's a lot of things going on in the background. Again, mostly in the development stage, and development is such that things may or may not happen. Who knows? Can't talk about them as well. NDAs, all that sort of thing. But watch this space. Certainly, if I'm on TV again, I will be crowing and strutting about it in a manner with which I have grown to like crowing and strutting about. So if I have that opportunity, then rest assured, I will be crowing and strutting. Right, another question that people have asked a lot as well is, do you know any other people from Biggest Little Railway from before you started filming? And I think it was a case of yes and no. I knew a lot of people through online, through YouTube in particular. There's Dundee Road is one of the channels that's been following my videos for quite a while, and I got to meet Peter in Scotland, and it was lovely to meet him, lovely to work with him, and we've kept in touch since. There's also David Radcliffe as well, I knew from online. They're also friends with a mutual friend of ours, knew them very well. And there was a couple of other people as well, had YouTube channels that I was aware of. And I think there was a couple of people from online fora. But the only person that I probably truly knew from before the filming, I guess, was Big Paul, who was actually ended up on Team D, and I'd known him from a couple of years previously, so that was pretty much it. Went up there, and a whole bunch of people I didn't really know at all well, but got to know people pretty well, and got to make some really good friends doing that, so well worth it. How well did you get along with the other people from Biggest Little Railway? I think people want to hear, like, oh, we were fighting every night, and it was broken beer bottles at dawn, and it wasn't like that. It was a real party atmosphere, and we all got on really well. It kind of reminded me a little bit like being students again, and it's kind of nice to let your hair down and just party hard, have fun, doing something really bonkers. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, we got on really well. Let's have a look. What other questions have been coming up? What are you working on with your writing at the moment? Well, again, NDAs. There's some stuff that I've been writing, some treatments and scripts that I can't really talk about, but I have been working on them. And it's quite good fun, but very, very different from what I'm used to. I've also started on many occasions to try and write the Third Stars book, and I always get distracted by something else. I'm also writing another book about something else that I can't talk about, and I've been doing ghostwriting as well. So there's a lot of writing going on, but it might not necessarily be the most obvious because of the nature of what it is I'm working on. Outside of railway modelling, what are your hobbies? I like sailing. I've got a sailing boat. There is a video on YouTube somewhere of us going sailing. Well, not the actual sailing part, because the camera at the time wasn't waterproof and we didn't dare take it out on the lake. But we're hoping, fingers crossed, this year maybe we'll get up to the lake again. And the little action cam that we use to send around the model railway, that camera is actually, it's waterproof. It's designed for things like sporting activities, and one of the things that we want to do with it is do a lot of filming of our sailing. So really looking forward to that, and it's always nice to spend some time in the Lake District. Over the last couple of years, just haven't had the time. What other hobbies? Record collecting, well, you know all about that, doing the vinyl videos. Probably not into that as much as I was. Music always used to be a huge part of my life. That's kind of faded a little bit, but you know, it's still there. Motorsport as well, to some degree. I don't actively follow an awful lot. I dip in and out of Formula One, but there's a definite interest in motorsport there. Don't know, that's about it really. Will we be seeing any more of the top 1000 vinyl LP videos? Well, there's quite a few people intermittently do ask these. I can see Zoe nodding over there. And the long or the short of that one is, don't know. Part of the problem was that they were a bit niche. And I think it's one of the things that YouTube channels find when they get to be quite, you know, we've just passed 1 million views. In fact, we're well past 1 million views now. It's really ramping up. But you tend to find that you get known for a particular niche of your work. And people generally, most people want more of that. And what I found was that the vinyl videos that I've been doing for quite some time, they didn't pick up in the same way as the railway modelling, model railway review videos did. So they kind of fell by the wayside because there's a lot of work goes into editing up all of these videos. But what Zoe was finding was that she was editing up these quite long videos. It was taking a lot of time, and some of them were only getting like 200 views. And it just wasn't worth it. We thought that the time and effort was better spent on the model railway videos because they seemed to be what so many people wanted to watch. But that doesn't preclude the top 1000 vinyl videos from returning from time to time. Certainly we're nowhere near 1,000 videos. I think we passed maybe 140, 150 albums. So there's still a long way to go to get to that target of 1,000. Next question. Were those responsible for vandalising your shed layout ever caught? And this is a question that keeps coming up. A lot of new people who find the channel quite often find it through the video of the immediate aftermath of the vandalism that we had on Bolton Trinity Road out in the shed. And the short answer is that we were told by the police that yes, they had caught the individuals responsible and they had been prosecuted in part for that, but also for other naughtiness. So that's what we've been told. So that's where we're at. Bolton Trinity Road has been fully rebuilt, and the shed is now infinitely more secure. So we've put all that behind us. We ran the Phoenix Express when all of the stolen items were recovered and returned to me. We kind of moved on from that, but people do keep asking about it, so don't worry about it. It's all been sorted out. Well, we're grand.
As a follow-up to that, was everything recovered?
Actually, yeah, it's an interesting follow-up question. Was everything recovered? And the answer is no. No, it wasn't. There are still as of the point of recording this, a few locomotives that are missing in action. And from the top of my mind, there's an old Bachmann split chassis Ivet 262 tank with, I think it had, I can't remember whether it was late crest or early crest, but it was a factory applied weathered version of the 262 Ivet tank. That never made it back. My original City of London in Great Western livery never made it back. I still have pieces of it. The people who committed the crime were stupid enough to actually damage some of these items quite badly. So I still have the front bogie and part of the tender of that locomotive. And the insurance money. I bought a replacement because I did really quite like that locomotive. So I do have a City of London, but it's not the one that was stolen. There was also an Airfix 61XX 262 Prairie tank, a really old 1970s mainline model. That never made it back. What else? And I had a Hornby 264 L1 tank locomotive, which was in LNER Doncaster Apple Green, but with British Railway spelt out in the bunkers. And again, I've got I had part of the buffer beam from that had been snapped off, which is quite a tragedy, really, when you think how nice these models are. And they just destroyed them with their greed and clumsiness to thieve from people. But that never made it back. But again, insurance, I managed to track down, and I bought a replacement for it because it was one that I really liked. Any others that didn't make it back? I think they were the only ones that really spring to mind. Pretty much everything else made it back. Let's see, final question. What are your future modelling plans? Well, Bolton Trinity Road is pretty much complete, and I'm getting a lot of problems, as you've seen on previous JennyCam videos. I injured my knees slipping on black ice, and that problem's still with me, and I just haven't really been out to the shed much since then. It's really difficult to get in and out. A lot of days there's a lot of pain as well with my knees, limited mobility, which is really difficult. And then I've also, if you've been watching Zoe's blog, I managed to break a rib as well. That was a bit calamitous. One of those things. I've broken ribs in the past. It hurts like anything, and that's put paid to things. But I do have long-term plans to line out the loft of our house. And there's quite a good space up there. It's not as good as it would be if we were one of the middle of the row terraces, because there's kind of I don't know what they call it. Like, is it a gable or a dormer, or I'm not sure what they call it. But we kind of have a leany in bit on the end at the roof, for want of a more technical term, and it means that we get probably less than half the usable loft space than what other people in the row get. But that said, it's still an area that I would estimate is about 3 times the size of the shed that currently houses Bolton Trinity Road. And it has much more height. And I have plans, once I line it all out with Kingspan, Celotex board, make it really nice and warm up there. I'm going to build double-decked. So there will be a lower level, which I aim to have a model, a very constrained model, but built in the ethos of Tyne Marshalling Yard. And that will kind of be the fiddle yard, but it'll be scenic. And then have the means that trains can run to an upper section where I'm in two minds a little bit about what to build up there, but I'm inclining towards a model of Kirby Stephen East Station. We do have the original of the painting by John Wigston, Eden Valley Standard, which is of that station in probably the late 1950s. And that actually features, and I think it's JennyCam number 4. We talked about some of the paintings that I collect. But to do a model of that would be quite nice. And the aim would be to have some quite dramatic scenery that long trains can run through, and have the means for 4 trains to run at the same time. And that's very much I'd say probably the next 10-year plan. Maybe later on this year, if my knees get better, I'll start the work converting the loft so that it becomes a usable room, and then just see where we get to from there. But security will be a lot better, and it will also mean that, especially like during winter, a lot easier to make use of the space. And then Bolton Trinity Road will be retired, and I will convert the shed back to just being a garden shed. And the garden railway section, that'll probably become a ground level O gauge, just a completely out in the open thing, and probably run a few things like Dapole Terrier that I bought for my dad, and the wagons to go with that. And that'll be quite a nice ground level garden railway. So we'll still have a garden railway, it just won't be the one that's out there now. And that's pretty much long-term plans. Anything else? Zoe keeps bugging me to do a Christmas themed snowy layout, and at some point I might do something really quite small, the sort of thing that you'd have around the base of a Christmas tree, maybe. I don't know. All ideas that are just being floated about. But anyway, that's all I've really got time for. That's a summary of some of the more popular questions that I keep getting asked through YouTube, through blogs, through websites, through fora. The sort of things that people seem to want to know more about. So hopefully that's answered a few of the questions that you might have had. And from time to time, maybe we'll do some more videos like this. I don't know. It's been great having you along for this ride. Hope this has been informative to you. Don't forget to like this video, share it too, and also subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go on up. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying take very good care of yourself. Bye for now.
So you're not going to be on Blue Planet as a new species?
No, Zoe, I'm not going to be on Blue Planet as another species. Can't get the staff, can you? Today's video has been brought to you by my books, Bringing Home the Stars, Twinkle Little Star, and also you can get the complete comic collections of All Over the House, Books 1, Books 2, and also the wacky zany Life of Knob T Mouse. Thanks, and catch you later.